Hey folks, today we're going to be going over Chrome extensions. Yeah, Chrome extension is what we're going to be going over, and I had a lot of fun with this. I did it a while back, so I might not remember everything I had to do, but hopefully by the end of this video you'll be able to understand how to develop one. It's honestly pretty easy. You only need a few files, and you'll hopefully know how to deploy it to the Chrome Web Store. I'm not sure how Firefox handles extensions at all, but for Chrome at least, I know that it's pretty easy, and I mean even just creating a Hello World extension will probably only take you an hour. I will caution you that, well, I'll take that back because it does take time. You'll have to make a developer account for Chrome. I'm pretty sure it costs like $5 or so, but after you do that, you can publish your extensions to the web store. This is particularly important because I mean, if you're trying to use any like Google or Chrome APIs, like if you're trying to use Google Maps or um, Google APIs in your extension, you'll have to make sure that you publish it first so that Google has the ID of the extension. But that's only if you use it for using Google's API. I am using Google's API in this example. I'm using their identity API, which is just authorization, and we're also using the calendar API. It's not, I don't think the API uses authentication. It's just a RESTful API that lets you add things to your calendar. So the extension I made is just all it is an extension that lets you add events to your calendar. It's that simple. It does one thing. It doesn't monitor your ads. It's not like ad block or anything. So yeah, let's jump into it. So this URL is chrome://extensions, and this is the page that Chrome lists all your extensions. You can see I have a few, and they all have IDs. These are how Chrome tracks them in the web store. You'll get one of these when you publish. For developing one, you'll have to make sure to click this checkbox that says developer mode, and to load your extension, all you do is click load unpacked extension and navigate to your project folder. So my project folder is add to GCal, and that's the title of it. It's add an event to GCal. So click OK, and Chrome automatically processes it and loads it in. Mine has an ID because it's published. This is just the local copy that I have on my machine. So it loaded it, and as you can see, I have one more little icon up here. This icon is just a link to the browser action. So if I click, let's do HTTPS. So this extension is HTTPS, and it just provides HTTPS functionality. When you press it, as I said, there's a browser action that fires an HTML page. This is honestly just a regular HTML page. It has JavaScript as well as any other, CSS stuff. But I will tell you that it is separate from this page here. So this tab doesn't have access to this, and this doesn't have access to this stuff. They can communicate with message passing, but that's out of the scope of this video, and I honestly don't know how it works, so I don't know how to explain it. So that's just the overview of how you would deploy one. Anytime you want to test it, all you have to do is say you're in Notepad and you make a little change here, and you press save. All you have to do is press reload, and it'll automatically go back to that folder where you had it. So mine's this folder, and say you edited this file. When you press reload, Chrome it'll pull in all the changes that you make here, and will make them available when you press the action. My extension that I made doesn't use any of like the special stuff like the menu options here, but there are so many things that you can do. Just search like Chrome extension API, and there are so many things that are possible here. So yeah, let's jump into the code actually to see what it looks like. So as you can see, there's like 5 files that are used. This is the pop-up page, which is just you know, this HTML, and the one I made is this one here. So this is just the title. This is your calendar for Google, and then if you want to, let's just do it. Let's do breakfast at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Actually, let's just do it April 3rd. Okay. So you click add, and this is honestly not a very good UI. The user interface is pretty bad. So when you press this button, all that happens is it adds it to the calendar. It doesn't say success or anything, but you see if you go to your calendar on Google, it should be popping up here sometime soon. So let's navigate to April 3rd at 7, and you can see that it was added here just to so you know for sure that it works. We can try it one more time. We can go over here, and let's say we're pretty hungry, so brunch at 10 a.m. on April 3rd. And I don't know so it is, I don't know if it's doing like polling on the Google server, but it automatically pops up, which I thought was pretty cool. So that is all that it does. That's all it does. All it does is add an event. You have to be careful with what you put in this box. So Google might not know what to put on your calendar if you just do like you know, pick up Tommy next week. I don't think it will know how to put that on your calendar. So you got to be specific with what you put in, like a time and date. So if there's no like information, I guess it'll just put it on the current time and day. Alright. So we kind of went through the functionality of it and what it looks like, so we can go into Notepad here. So this is the pop-up, and it's pretty small, just styling, and the select area is the list of calendars. Mine only had one, you know, my primary calendar, and it had just the text that you want to send it. So this is where I put breakfast at 7 a.m. and the add button is just a button that will trigger the GET request. So the GET request is actually in this JavaScript, which is included here, as well as jQuery. I don't know why I have it in here, but actually, yeah, I have no idea. Actually, I think that this file uses jQuery, so that might be the reason. So a lot of this I honestly took from Google Calendar's extension. So Google has their own calendar extension, and I just learned a lot from digging through their extension. So if you want to do the same thing, you could download their extension, um, and look through some of the code. So if we wanted to do that for ad block, we could certainly. And if you just want to do inspect, it might take me a little bit here to figure out how to find it. Let's see. Okay. So here is one of the JavaScripts that's run for ad block. You can also just go back to your Chrome/extensions and go background page. The background page is just the auto-generated stuff. So ad block has a lot of pages a lot of JavaScripts that run in the background. So these are just the background functionality of it. There's a lot of code here, and it's probably all minified and stuff. So I don't want to bore you with that. So we can dig back in here. So that pop-up that we were talking about uses a browser action JavaScript, and this is just a file that runs in the background, or it runs with our pop-up page, and it defines the RESTful API URL, and it will get the list, the calendars. It uses Chrome's Identity API, and once it authenticates, it'll pop up saying, we need access to your profile. You click OK, and it'll send off a request to Google and ask them for a list of your calendars. To do this, you'll need to. What needs to be sent is this auth token here, and this auth token is just the response that comes from you saying, okay, I'll give you access to my stuff. And then once it comes back, it'll add those calendars, that calendar list, to your drop-down box. That's pretty easy, right? It took a while for me to figure out this authentication part. But you'll make sure to want to pass in this interactive true. If you don't pass this interactive true in, access won't be implicitly granted, I don't think. So I mean, this function won't be called. It'll be an error will probably trigger. So that's one important thing. This is the function that creates the add event. So when you press that button here, this function is triggered, and since we've already authenticated with the interactive, we can just do false, because there should be an auth token in the cache or something that is sent. So we don't need to pop up that give permission for my profile thing again. We can just pass in an auth token and send a jQuery AJAX event, a post request to Google. So this is just sending a post request to our ad URL, which is defined up top here. It's Google APIs /calendar/v3 calendars. And then this here is just a format. The double curly brackets, or the single curly brackets, is just used for JavaScript formatting. It's just a replace, and then the endpoint is quick add. That's the endpoint we're talking to, and what we also have to do is So yeah, that's that replace the calendar ID with your calendar ID that you use. And then you have to encode the ID because it may contain like @ symbols and slashes and stuff. And then the most important part here is this text. So this is a query parameter, but it's just a parameter in this case. And encoding this component. So this text here is just the stuff that I've typed in. So it could be, you know, breakfast at 7 or pick up Tommy at 10 a.m. or something like that. And then once that comes back, I don't do anything. That's the poor user interface right there, right here. I should have something like alert good or something, you know. And then this is just the stuff that runs when the file's loaded in. So when you click the button initially and you don't have any auth tokens, this will pull up the profile permission, I believe. And then this is the binding for the quick add button. This is just jQuery stuff. So yeah, it's basically get the calendars here, then have a function for when you press add to calendar, and then this is just the stuff that's run all the time. So we'll save that and then reload it later. The other important files, so we went over pop-up and we went over browser action. These are the two main ones that I had. This JavaScript runs with this HTML, okay, and this jQuery is run with this HTML too. The last piece is this manifest.json, and this is the important part that Chrome uses to load your extension. Actually, you know what? Let's open this in Notepad. Okay, manifest.json. There's a few things that are required, I think, for a manifest, and that's like version and all this bullcrap up here. So the name of it, the description, the version number. This doesn't really matter. But what does matter is the browser action. This is how Chrome knows, you know, what do I display up here, you know. So it displays this icon. My icon is just the little world symbol, and then the default pop-up page is that that file that we're looking at, this pop-up page right here. So after that, you'll need content scripts. I don't think you have to have content scripts. Content scripts are used in the context of the tab you're on. So there's different contexts. There's your tab context, which is just, you know, let's say you go to Cloud9 or something. The browser context, the tab context, is what's running in the tab. And the content scripts that you specify here are scripts that will run within the context of the tab page here. So what I'm doing when I load my extension is I am running this jQuery alongside every single HTML page that I visit. So that honestly is not needed. I don't think we actually need this. So I'll probably have to remove that. Let's try removing this and see what happens, because I'm not using jQuery to access anything on the DOM for the tab. I'm just using jQuery up here, and these two are separate, right? So I don't actually need that. We'll see if that does anything. And then The other important part is content security policy, and this is really confusing because it's basically I think it's a whitelist. I had the typo. So I'm basically doing, I'm saying allow scripts to be run from here maybe, and here. I don't know if I need these, but let's see. Scripts. Yeah, I kind of forgot what these are for. But one of the big things for extensions is that you can't have embedded JavaScript in your pop-up HTML file here. All right, so you have to do a script tag, a script source tag. The next thing is permissions. I think you have to have permissions. So I'm using identity permission for the authentication. So the pop-up box that says, allow Google to have, or allow this extension to have access to your Google profile. So that's what will authenticate you against Google, so you can use it. You can access your calendar. Storage is used. Storage is actually used to store the calendar list. So the list of your calendars, you can have like a primary calendar. Say if you have like a calendar for school, you can have a separate calendar saved to your local storage. I'm gonna try and find where it actually uses the local storage in the JavaScript. I don't know where it is. So I might not even need that part of it, to be honest. Let me just... Yeah, so I probably don't even need that. And then tabs is another one you might need. I don't even think I need that one either. Tabs is just permission, so you can have access to, so say if you popped up this here, if you have permissions in your security policy, or in your permissions, your pop-up will have access to this tab and all the other tabs. And since my extension doesn't use it, I just removed it. I don't think it needs it, so we'll see if that works. And then what these are basically saying is any script. Wait, I actually don't even know what these. I don't know what those even mean. So here's a very important part. I could not get my extension to work with the Google API without this key. So you'll need to make sure to get that. I'll explain how to get that later. And then OAuth 2 is especially important if you want to be using Google APIs. So I'm using the calendar APIs, and I have a client ID. We'll go through this stuff next. So this stuff is really important. With the changes that I did make, we'll go and see if they break it or if it, works. So we can go back to extensions and reload. Oops. Okay, so I don't think I need that. So we'll just Actually, we can probably just delete that. So let's go and see if that works for us. Let's see, what do we want to add? To church at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So it seems to have worked. My changes are good. Let's double check on the calendar. Yeah, so church is all good. Okay, so I didn't need access. I didn't need content scripts, but you might need content scripts if you want to say. So if you wanted to, display instead of vertical text, if you wanted to display the text left to right, or if you wanted to especially format any part of the page, you'll have to use a content script. So let's get on to some of the other stuff with authentication and deploying your extension. To upload it, you'll have to go to the Google Developer Console. Actually, you know what? Let's set up the API first, just to give you an idea of how the Google APIs work. Even if you don't use the calendar API in particular, this may just be good for you to know if you want to use it. If you want to use any of the Google APIs in the future. Okay, I don't know what this IM and admin means, but you have to create a new project. And so let's see here. Okay, this is just permission. Let's see what encryption keys has. They kind of changed what this is, or maybe I'm just in the wrong spot. I'm not sure. I think this is a new feature. Okay, so if you wanted to use an API, you'd just, say if I wanted to use the analytics, you just type in Google Analytics. Okay, and then service accounts. I swear there was something with the client IDs. I kind of forgot where the client IDs were. I don't think I'm in the right spot. Here it is. Okay, here we are. This is the right spot. You just kind of have to go on this submenu thing. Okay, so you click this enable API to get your API to get the API going, and the credentials is the tab where you get your client ID. Okay, and so what I had to do was create OAuth client ID, and you have to do for extensions. This is a web app, and this is going to be, I kind of forgot what I put there. But the web app and the OAuth client ID is the selections for that one. And it'll pop out this client ID here. So this client ID, don't steal it, is what's basically just right here. And the scopes is all that you need access to. So if I needed the Google Analytics endpoint, I'd have to do /auths or /analytics or wherever the analytics endpoint is. So that's that. To upload, let's do upload next. Okay, this is the URL, chrome.google.com/webstore developer dashboard. And to upload, you do add new item. And before this, I think you have to pay a $5 fee, but I guess that's a price you pay, you know. So you'll have to zip up whatever files you have in your application. So in your extension, so you'll have to zip up this folder, and once that's zipped up, you just upload it. And I mean, it's a pretty easy process as long as it loads here and is fine. It should load on Google Webstore and be eligible for download. And once you have it uploaded, you can see it here. It takes like 2 hours to upload and publish, but as you can see, it was published like a month ago or two, and it doesn't have many users at all. So you can go to edit, and there's a lot of custom stuff you can select for your extension. What I did, just so nobody from like Turkey or Ukraine is hacking my extension, I just do the US and I do unlisted, so only I have the link to it, which is basically just it's chrome.google.com/webstore slash the extensions slash and then the name of it, add to gcal, and then the ID. And this ID is given to me from Google. Damn it. It's supposed to go to my extension. Webstore. Let's try that. Okay, my GitHub has a link to it. So once you have it published, it'll have a link like this. And so this is where it happens. This is your uploaded Chrome extension right here. So this is where the description goes, and you can just add to Chrome. Since it's already added locally, then I don't think I need to do this. So, you know, we can remove this one that's local, and then download this to see if it, you know, works and tests well with Google. So it has added, and it's good. So Google is good. What I did struggle with was this, this ID. To get this ID, you can go back to the developer dashboard and do more info. This item ID is important, and this is also the important part. This public key needs to be present when you use the Google APIs. So I use the public key right here. I don't think I used it in the actual application, but it's just used when I authenticate with the API, I think. And then this item ID, there's something else that I need to say. It's this item ID, I don't think it goes anywhere in the manifest, but it does go somewhere else. It goes in your Google API. So once you get to the developer dashboard, once you get the upload going, you'll have to copy this, go back to the Google API that you're using. So let's get to our project. Oh man, my computer's so slow. Okay, it's not there. Is it here? Okay, yes. Okay. So you'll have to make your client ID first, which is this thing here. And then once you've tested out your application locally and stuff and blah blah blah, and it works, you'll upload it. You will get the item ID from here, right here, and you'll come back and you'll put the application ID in here, and that makes it work. So I'm just trying to think of other things that might be useful for you to know. I think I've covered a lot. I don't know if it was clear at all. I don't know if I should have planned it better, but you know what? You do things, and you're just gonna run with it. So I hope you enjoyed. You can post any questions you have in the comments, and get down to coding your extensions. Yeah. Alrighty. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.